complain. I know it's tough and I know there's pain, but hitting bottom is the only way to change. So I'll keep hustling.
Welcome to CryptoEMC, everybody. We are late. Some backstage technical difficulties, but I kept on hustling. Lee, how are you doing, my friend? Let's hope Bitcoin price doesn't drop the way my cool drink dropped over everything, all my technical stuff. That's something we want to talk with. Is it going down? What's Bitcoin price doing? That's the question. It's going up. So that's a good. It's fun, right? So we were talking backstage. We're planning for this for the stream, and we made. I still got bloody stuff on my glasses as well. Let's do it without it. We were talking backstage about Altseason and is this altcoin liquidity or exit liquidity season? That's a big question. You need to think about it because taking a good position, getting a good trade is just as important as taking good profits. People tend to spend a lot of time thinking about getting in, and then there's that unwritten rule or calmness once the trade starts going well that you would know when to take profit. And that's how the majority of people actually wreck themselves, by not being in drawdown from day one, by actually getting to a good position of taking profit. And euphoria and those things tells them that it's okay, it's going to continue on. And then we wreck ourselves. So a lot of us have given back some profit. Let me know in the chat if you've given back some insane profit. I know both Lee and myself. Lee,
I must confess, I'm really, I mean, not bad, but I'm bad at it, taking profits. To be honest with you guys, I think, Rudo, you as well, how much money we haven't given back to the market? I think if you do the addition between, all the P&L, but the profits that we didn't cash in compared to the profits that we cashed in, which one is bigger?
No, that's true. Well, let's not do that. But I mean, a lot of us have had that where we've given back a lot of profits. But okay, but you learn, and that's the thing. And it's the same as, and taking profit should be seen as the same as getting an entry, getting stopped out. Sometimes you take a profit, and sometimes it continues on high. You need to be comfortable to say, well, is this momentum continuing? And if you're in a trade, you can buy back. And if you're in an investment, you're not plagued with that problems because you're not taking profits every 5 days and so forth. Okay, so now let's get into the charty part of this because people want to be looking at our charts. Lee, so we were talking about Altseason. So you've explained yesterday to them how an Altseason looks and the way that an Altseason functions. So let's quickly bring up your chart. Your Altseason chart, and let's just reiterate for anybody that is new exactly what we mean by Altseason and what it is we're looking for. And then we're going to dive in some additional metrics so that we can determine whether we're in Altseason or whether in alt exit liquidity season. So let's have a look. So that's a very interesting chart. You're going to have to zoom in, but it's definitely interesting. So what am I looking at there?
So basically, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 charts here. We have Bitcoin charts, which is the top one. We have the total one, the total crypto market cap. Total 2, which is the total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin. And we have the total 3, which is the total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And at the bottom, we have the Bitcoin dominance.
Okay. Now, the goal for this chart, why did you draw this chart up?
Well, we want to refresh our memories. The Altseason was sounds like it was so many days ago, so many months ago. What are the conditions for us to call it an Altseason, basically? What are the 3 conditions, right? At least 3 conditions that we can be sure that we will be in the Altseason.
Can I answer the 2 that I remember, then I leave you with the 3rd one that I forgot?
Okay.
Come on, buddy. Tell us the 3 conditions that we need.
Oh, no. Tell me. I'm asking you. So first condition, Bitcoin, for me, Bitcoin needs to be strong.
That's the easy one. Bitcoin must go up.
Bitcoin up or consolidating.
Okay. Then what do we want to see secondly? Well, if Bitcoin goes up, dominance needs to go down. That's the second, the easiest, the easy two. And then what is the third one, Lee? And I'm bringing back your chart so you can show us there.
I'm just writing down on the chart as well. So the first condition is Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin must go up or consolidate.
Well, I'll do it over here. I've got it nicely, cleanly marked out over here on this chart. Yeah. So what I have here for you guys, at the top is Bitcoin's price action, and at the bottom it is the dominance. So when you line them up and you put them on a chart, like I did now, and I start lining these dates up with each other, what you see at the top end is Bitcoin price goes up, and what you see at the bottom is dominance goes down. That is the two major conditions for an alt season. And then when Bitcoin starts going up, we've seen this now recently, Bitcoin is making higher highs and it's striding itself, trying to recapture new highs and get back to its former glory. The alts didn't respond well. A lot of people were questioning themselves. And it's only recent when we really start zooming into this, where we've got Bitcoin accelerating a little bit more aggressively and the dominance dumping down. And that is the indication that the alts have given us a bit of a flaw. But there's the third condition, Lee. So I'm going to bring up your screen and let's talk about the third condition.
Well, for me, the third condition, the alts must look strong and must go up, obviously, right?
But we need to see Bitcoin and the alt market, the total market cap, to also show us a little bit of positivity. And that's why that one is there. The total market cap doesn't, if that one is still showing us, that metric of everything put together, still showing us that there's uncertainty, we are not there yet. And that's the missing link. That's what we're looking at. That's the reason for this chart. So can you zoom into that total market cap that you've got there, firstly?
Yeah, so we're gonna just pull up the total market cap here. That is the second chart I've got here. Yeah, total market cap. I mean, it looks really similar to Bitcoin charts.
Yeah, at first glance, it's easy to start looking at all four. If you go back to previous, they all look almost identical. So especially if you're new to this, it's simple. They all look the same. We're kind of okay, but it's not. It's these.
If you dive in a little bit, we will show you the difference between these three, the total 1, total 2, and total 3. So total 1, total market cap.
Okay, so let's dive in. Before we do that, Lee, can everybody just hit that like and subscribe button, because we've been told that it's now 2 weeks and we have not done any of that. So we're just going to get back to it. Remind, please hit the like and subscribe. It does the algorithm well, apparently. Okay, Lee, let's zoom in there. What do we see?
We see the previous low, which is at 1.48 trillion. We come back with a peak here, retrace. We made a higher low at that pivot here, right? We made a higher low. And now we're coming back. And for this to become totally bullish, and making, because yesterday also I had somebody commenting on my tweet, we should not short Bitcoin because there's a double bottom on a weekly chart. And I'm assuming he's talking about this double bottom. So double top bottom, one of the conditions is first lower low, a high, come back, another higher low, which is really important. And then to confirm this double bottom, you need a higher high that comes after the higher low. Okay. And if you look at this chart, if you do 1, 2, 3 like this, we still haven't got this higher high. And that's why I've put my limit here on the bullish side. I want to see this candle here, whether it's this week, over the weekend maybe, or next week with a little retrace and come back, push up and making a higher high on the total market cap. And then that chart will become a totally bullish chart on a weekly basis. So if you can even So that's my condition for this to become a really bullish chart.
Okay, so let's rewind and simplify. We always say, I'm going to remove your screen there, Lee. So we always say this. When we buy a trade and we trade, you trade as if the trend is going to last forever. Stop trying to figure out whether it's going to turn today or tomorrow. The trend is up, then you say it's up. Then immediately you're excluding yourself, or you're limiting your options or the variables by 50%, because most people get plagued by, is it up now and is it down tomorrow and is it up again? So that you keep on tricking yourself into different narratives, and that just messes with your head, and at the end of the day messes with your game. If a poker player goes to play poker, Lee goes to sign up on a tournament, he's already smoking his victory cigar because he says he's going to win. You don't go and compete with the idea that you're going to lose. So make it simple for yourself and say, well, it's bullish. Because it's bullish. We don't have a reason for it to believe that. But we need to always make sure that we know when it's not going to be bullish anymore. That's why we spend a lot of time pooling over all these small little nuances to make sure that we don't get caught off guard. And that's what we're trying to do here. So we've got 3 conditions, but the third condition is missing. We don't have a higher high in the total market. So in essence, what we have at this stage is we've got Bitcoin that did well in the past. It's not past the 45K rate. So technically, if you look at Bitcoin, Lee, where's your Bitcoin chart? Bitcoin's currently not even in a high level. It's only Ethereum and some of the alts. Am I correct?
My Bitcoin chart. Yeah, Bitcoin, but like I said, I mean, we have been looking at Bitcoin chart for quite a while now. Where is it now?
You just had
on
it.
Weekly or daily. Daily is here. Bitcoin chart. I've got exactly the same pivot mark, which is this one at 46,000.
Now go back 2 charts. You were 2 charts ago. I actually want to see that one. 2 tabs back. I think that one. Another one. The blue tab.
That's total 3. Oh, this one. That's
or the green tab. The one you literally
no,
showed.
That's Ethereum. Ethereum Classic.
We'll work on it. Where's that other one where you've got Bitcoin and Ethereum above each other?
I know which one you mean.
This is the age-old plague of any trader, is finding your chart. If TradingView can figure this out, it's always going to be fun. Let's quickly see. No, but you were on it just now, man. Isn't it to the far left-hand side?
Bitcoin is same altogether.
Yeah.
This one.
There it is. There it is. Just stay there. There you go. So now you can clearly see what do we have there. Bitcoin is not even in high. You can move that line up ever so slightly. But it's not playing ball. And that's why we say total needs to start playing ball. Because remember, the conditions for an alt season is Bitcoin going up and being strong. That's the first condition. And although it did give us a prior scenario where it did make a higher high, alts didn't repeat. So that both 2 conditions weren't in place at the same time. Now what we have is Bitcoin not doing a higher high, but alts, Ethereum showing a little bit of higher high. So we're back at that situation where the first condition has not been met. So we have to be critical about this and not fall blind to bullishness and saying, it's oil, we're going to make money again, hand over fist. Because until those conditions are there, we have to be looking at this as maybe exit liquidity. And then we just need to be smart about this. That's all that we need to do. We know how to exit at a good area. We've got some good gains now. So we can afford to take some profit and not be caught off guard if it continues on higher, because buying back at a higher price comes at a very little cost, as opposed to not taking profit at all and giving back everything. Okay.
Okay. I think maybe we must recap here quickly why we said this is the higher high and not on Ethereum, the one below, guys. Because I think that's really important to pick up which pivot we're taking to consider if it is a higher high or not. Because now we can also argue that this high here is higher than this pivot here. Okay, but if you look at the Bitcoin chart, the last bearish structure start from this pivot here, and then start from here and drop to this low. After that, we have a bounce back. We made a higher high compared to this pivot, the last bearish structure. So here we have you have a change of character. Okay, so we didn't make a higher high, but that's only your first sign of maybe a reversal of the trend. After that, the price drop, and you made a higher low.
You can actually zoom up take that arrow and put a momentum line in there, because that's the easiest way that anybody that is new to this can just see that. We changed momentum, we changed the character, and we made a higher high. Ethereum didn't make a higher high. It changed character, but it didn't make a higher high.
Okay. So if that was your last bearish momentum coming down, we break this bearish momentum. We did come up, make a higher high. And what is important to see after that is after the you get out of this bearish momentum is to have first a higher high, a higher low, and now you are waiting for another higher high to confirm that you are in this, you change the momentum and you have a nice structure.
That's it.
Okay, on the other side of this bearish momentum. And only
let's do that on Ethereum.
After that, you can look at trading long in this partial of the chart. Now let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum, we have the last, if you want to put the momentum line like this, the last bearish momentum is here. We come back, and I'm just gonna use this arrow here. That was the previous high. We come back here. We did not make a higher high. Okay, so the first condition here already failed, did not work. We did make a lower low,
a higher low,
and then a higher low. Sorry, a higher low. Come back, lower highs, higher lows. So market is still deciding at that stage, and what is going to happen. So now, if you move the momentum line to this structure here, or the last bearish one, if that is the last bearish one, we're not sure. Now we're coming back. Market is making higher high compared to this pivot here. But at that stage, that's only the first one. What you want to see maybe is coming back down, and after that making higher high. So you can have another kind of double bottom forming like this and like this. And only after that, you can say you break this bearish momentum with the bullish structure with another double bottom on the other side.
I do it slightly different, but it comes down to the same, it boils down to the same picture. I'm just gonna, the way I see it, I just want to share it with you guys. So I'm just bringing up my screen. Ethereum, same thing. So we did this for Bitcoin, and once it broke this momentum, it did it with a higher high. So for me, the bigger high that still needs to get broken is this over here. Because for me, this low doesn't necessarily say that we can't make a lower low. So until we break that high, that is alts and Ethereum and Bitcoin in harmony. And that's when we look at the total. So that brings back to Lee's chart. The total has done that. So that's good. In general, the alts are doing, the total too has done that. In general, the alts are looking good. But the total market cap, this is now that last one. Can we bring up your total chart? And let's do that same analysis on the total chart and see whether that is there. And that is why the warning signs are there. So I'm just going to bring up your total chart there, Lee.
Yeah.
So do the same for us on the total chart.
Total chart, I mean, you wanted to put the pivot here, right? And now we're making, for me, so we are considering same as Ethereum. We are considering this pivot here as the first, how can you say that? The last bearish structure. And now we only made a higher high. And we are going for the second high on the total too. So for me, it's not full bullish on that one, unless we're making coming back 1, 2, 3, 4, and we still need to make a higher high compared to this one here on total 2.
I'm talking about total. Yeah, the total 2 is there. I agree with you. Sorry, buddy. I'm talking about the total market cap. This is the argument. So if you look at this, there's the bearish structure. What we've done is we've changed momentum, but now we need to go and make that higher high. That's the last high that I still want to see us break.
Total 1 with Bitcoin, right?
Yes, with Bitcoin. Total market cap. With Bitcoin. And that brings us back. Okay, so let's remove the screen and let's just sum this up for everybody. Bitcoin made a higher high a while ago, and it's on a position where it needs to still make a next higher high. That's condition one of an alt season then. Bitcoin is moving strong then. We've got an upwards trending Bitcoin. Secondly, what we need dominance confirming that by trending down. And now we're going to be looking at dominance. So later I'm going to bring up my USDT chart and then my dominance chart for you guys. And just now, let's look at that now. And see what we would want to have, what we see happening over there. So when I look at the USDT dominance chart, this is the amount of money fleeing to safety, people stabling up. We would want to see people stop stabling up, because if Bitcoin is now very bullishly and the alts are getting to that point where they're very bullish, this chart should then indeed go down. Okay, so now what am I getting over here? Well, currently we are getting some weakness, because from these pivots, prices making lower lows, RSIs making lower lows. So weakness is definitely there. So for me, where I would imagine if we go into an alt season, where would you start thinking about taking some profits as a generalized area? Well, at least around these areas over here. Would you agree with me?
Yes, but that's a big drop, eh?
That's a big drop, but that's stables going out of demand. That means people are greedy as hell. Because the last time stables went out of demand, people were greedy as hell. Look at that. January 2021, there's May 2021. There we had the big drop, the first one. So that's normally what happens is, and you can look at it at any apex point, you'll see a big rush to stable. That's normally when a run goes, when a run is at its end. So we're not at that stage. So what we would want to see is setting up a low, making even a higher low as such. If it makes a lower low, we can wait for longer. But that's one little nuance to the big picture.
On my USDT dominance chart, I see something, I'm interpreting this a little bit different. Basically, I'm gonna get my arrow again. On that move up, the last bearish structure was here. We did make a higher high. Okay, and when that high comes on a retrace, coming back, and I've got my fib here from the bottom to this top, and at that level here, which is at 4%, 4.03%, I think, yeah. Within where the blue line is, could be there's a demand zone here, and we are coming right inside this demand zone. So I don't know if this is gonna hold or if you're gonna just move below, but it will come with at least a little bit of cancel here. It will come with a little bit of a reaction here at that stage at 4%. How high back we're gonna pull back on that move, I don't know, but it always happens like this. When I trade like this as well on a Bitcoin or any other alts, at that blue line, I always say it's an uncomfortable zone to go long, and sometimes it happens that this zone is a strong zone to hold, and I won't be surprised if this USDT dominance cap is gonna pull back a little bit before more bearish continuation, maybe. That we don't know, but a reaction here, that's highly probable.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Lee. I mean, you're looking at it on a micro scale, and I was looking at it at a really big macro scale, but points to the same thing. Big picture, I would want to see it lose that level and continue onwards. Small time frame, there can definitely be a reaction. It just makes logically sense. Okay, let's move on then, and let's dissect the dominance for everybody. I'm going to bring up my dominance chart. So this is the target that we shared with you guys a while back while we were still sitting in this area here. And the argument was, if we want to have an alt season, and if we want to have a prolonged alt season, which means that a lot of alts, let's take the screen down quickly, and a lot of alts, let's talk Cardano. We love Cardano very much in that sense. Let's talk Cardano. A lot was promised, and that's probably the same for a lot of other layer ones. A lot was promised, and then projects were building on those promises, and more promises were made. People were buying projects that launched on launch days recently, So if you're holding coins, and I want to ask you something, if you've got bags, are those bags of coins? Now, I'm not talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's park that. Your bags, are they coins that are a year old, 2 years old maybe? Or are they OG coins? Because if they're coins that are a year old or maybe a few months old, it means that those coins, those businesses that you're investing in, still need to go prove that they can do what they made, what they promised. And the argument is for the dominance. If we want that proof to manifest and realize so that we can get to not an overextended market cap valuation of the previous highs where alts was, but we get to a point where everybody agrees that, hey, these companies are this price, are worth what they are priced in at the moment. You need the dominance to keep on trending down. Because historically, if we look at the dominance and we look at gold versus to legacy markets, Lee, do we have something like a gold dominance chart that you can know of?
Compared to what? Compared to which market?
The
dominance
legacy stock
what?
market.
I don't know.
Okay?
But
we're labeling Bitcoin as the digital gold, but we're still trading it in a dominance comparison. So realistically, if we were to just say talk 10 years down the line or 5 years down the line, Bitcoin has a role to play. But all the new inventions are not being invented on top of Bitcoin. They are inventing on Bitcoin as the base idea or the spirit that generated that. Much similar to the Model T Ford. We're not driving the Model T Ford anymore, although it was a brilliant vehicle in its invention and the way that it was delivered to the masses. But we've moved past it now. We look back at it and say, awesome, and it was great, but there's better things. And that's the same. Bitcoin is that store. It's that first investment. So if you hold a Model T Ford today, you're probably smiling financially. But that's the thing. Bitcoin is that gold. It's that store value. And for long-term viewers, long-term outlook investors, Bitcoin is brilliant at that. But what are we looking at? We're talking Altseason. We're talking new. Which new vehicle is going to take up and get mass adopted? And that's what we want to see. So in essence, for that to happen, the amount of money that's currently spent today by Volkswagen producing new vehicles overshadows Ford's production by monumentous levels at that stage when the Model T was launching. So that same argument is that the dominance, that percentage, is something that almost needs to die out over time, because these companies are going to come into their own, and I'm calling them companies. I think the word is dApps or whatever, but I mean, they're going to come into their own, they're going to create their own economies, and they're going to start functioning similar to the legacy markets. And that's a lot of years down the line, but the dominance is trending in that direction, and it's confirming the fact that that is happening. If you look at the dominance, Lee, a while back when we started, look at the dominance here. There was 65%, and this was the last bull run. Look at what the dominance did. This was the invention of the first Ethereum. I think Ethereum was over here somewhere. Dominance is sitting at 99. Before that, we only had Bitcoin. So that's the reality. More and more of these new exciting things are going to come into the crypto space, and it's going to dilute Bitcoin's growth or its in value over that. And if that keeps on happening, it's a good sign, because if Bitcoin recaptures, it means that people are done. There's no Altseason on its way. People are done looking at growing into new technologies, and they're running to safety. So nobody's running to safety, Lee. I think that's the prognosis here, or at least new money is entering and existing money is not fleeing. Because the dominance went to our target. It's showing that it's gaining momentum to the downside, which is good. So it's setting us up for that Altseason predominantly. So I'm really happy about this. Lee, have we maybe talked this subject to death now? Is everybody on par? Do you guys feel that we're in an Altseason still? Or do you understand that there's still a probability that we're in an alt exit liquidity season? And what's your thoughts on the comments there, Lee? I mean, you've been going through them.
That's why we have this style. I mean, for me, it's alt exit season. It's more like a relief rally for now. It's really too early to call it an alt season, unfortunately. I do see, Bitcoin, alt, and everything try to make a higher high. For me, the real alt season will come when we are ready to make another higher high compared to last Altseason. This one is more like a relief rally that's gonna hopefully take us to maybe even the first level of FIB, like 38.2 level, or if the alt are a little bit stronger, 618 level, to to balance your portfolio and to limit your risk a little bit,
That's it.
and buy more for the with the next retrace. Because
now I want to continue your thought, buddy.
Yeah, I mean on those crypto market cap weekly chart that we saw, just to the total one and total two, those were weekly chart. So one candle is actually a week. So you wanna see first a higher low, and then a higher high, and then the next higher low, and then another higher high. So we could hover within this range, a big range, for another, I don't know, 2 months maybe. And maybe only after that, we will be ready for the real Altseason.
So I want to bring up my screen, and I see a lot of down 40K, then back up, and those things. And well, we need to think about our investments and our trading a little bit bigger than that. We don't want to narrow it down. I see us go to 43, back down to 32, because that's wrecked. That's how people get wrecked. If you want to limit your thoughts to just, I want A and then B, as soon as it differs from that game plan, you're kind of thrown. You don't know what to do next. So the way we look at these things, and to bring a little bit of big picture perspective into this chart I use, and why I like this chart, is basically these red crossed lines signify certain significant times in Bitcoin's history. So we had our first halving. So that's that vertical line there. And prior to the first halving, we had our previous we had the all-time high that led to that halving, which was 2011 all-time high, was at like $30. We had the same for the second halving, which was in 2016. And prior to that, we had an all-time high of the 2013 all-time high was at $1,100. And the last one, I think most of you guys were here for that ride, which was in May 2020, and we had subsequently broke the previous all-time high, which was sitting at $19,000. So the argument simply is, if you think about it, is halving, all-time high gets broken, halving, all-time high gets broken. That's how more money enters into Bitcoin, our biggest and best marketing strategy. But there's more to this chart that I want to show with you guys. So when we look at the halving and we look at that and we put a normal fib in, I'm taking it from a previous all-time high. This chart does not have that data, but I've marked it in already. We take it from a previous all-time high and we just look at the 618 fib extension. And we're going to switch on the candles so you can see the entire movement. What happens is once we break it, first we get is what is called like a price discovery impulse. We drive past our previous all-time high. Now, if we look at this, each time we break the all-time high, we get that same price discovery impulse. And we did it on the last run as well. So remember, treating the trend like it's going to last forever, we're looking for similarities. 3 price discovery impulses. And then when we go and we look at how did that impulse form, we'll see, well, if we take a fib from the top to the bottom, we look at the 1618 extension, it tests it. And when we go back to the second one, second halving, top to bottom, what do? We actually go down and we test the 1618. I mean, if I now go and narrow down the values, we'll get a more accurate reading. But for this argument, I think I'm clicking accurate enough. And the same here as well. Previous all-time high, low. What are we doing? We are testing it. So the argument is simple. As long as we stay above the 1618 extension, we can afford ourselves the luxury to remain bullish. Simple as that. And that's what we're trying to say, you guys. So now with that being said, and we're talking alt season today, let's have a look at how alts performed in this range when it tested. And that's when I'm going to go back to this chart. So if we zoom back and we zoom out and we go to that date, which is in May 2017, and I do exactly the same over here. And we start dissecting this. So this area is the same optimism wave shown in this chart here. So I'm going to move that box in there. We're looking at that area here because we are saying basically today, that's the previous run. This is the current run. We're doing exactly the same. So the argument is if we look at that now, We'll move back to this chart. How did the alts perform? Well, let's look at the Altseason guide. I'm going to zoom in there. What did we get? Well, we had the beginning of it, Bitcoin going up. And then what happened was the alts, from the beginning of where the phase created itself to where it ended and when it ignited again, the alts ended up not doing too well. Dominance was higher. Now I want to ask yourself, the last time Bitcoin was at $40,000, how high was your alt? Lee, your alts. The last time we had a 40K Bitcoin, was your alts worth more or worth less than what they're currently priced at?
We're at 44 now. I haven't seen any difference in my old portfolio, basically. I mean, any huge difference between 40K and 44.
No. I'm talking about the last time. So last year when we were at 40K, where were our alts?
From last year?
Portfolio. Was it up or is it down? Mine's down. I don't know about you, but my long-term alt bags, the last time Bitcoin was 40K.
Well, I don't know. It's not the same bag, basically. So how can you compare this?
Okay. Lee's always giving an honest answer. So he doesn't just go with it. So we'll leave it at that.
I'm not holding, all those old like for full cycle.
Okay. So I want to ask you to go and have a look at that as well. Go look at what your alts was and whether they are valued at the same or more. Mine's valued less. That's it. Hands down, I'm down on my alt bags. And that points to the same set that happened the last time around when we were in that optimism wave. When we were in this wave, most people were looking at their alts.
But I think, Rudo, there's one thing you said before the show. One of the reason why we will get we're not at the Altseason right now is because Bitcoin needs to perform first. Bitcoin needs to go above 50K. Bitcoin needs to bring confidence. We need new money coming in this market. We need new money to come to the market. People need to make profit out of BTC first, and then sell their BTC and try to push those alts. And that is when everything's gonna go up like crazy. Have an Altseason. But now, if you don't have confidence in crypto market or Bitcoin market, how do you expect all to outperform anything right now? That's a little bit too early for me. And so maybe to close it off, I've got this Ethereum Classic chart, and maybe we can zoom out a little bit and see what is the difference between the last pump, and what we're experiencing right now. If you can bring that chart up,
and we take it from there. Okay, so the argument is simple. We've looked at this chart over here, and I've explained to you guys, for me, I'm still long-term bullish because of this metric. I'm just going to do this. Because of the fact that each time we go and test the 1618 past the all-time high, we go into this optimism wave. And the idea that I want to leave with you guys is, if you were in this rally over here and you were sitting with Bitcoin at that stage and with alts, would you believe if somebody told you that this is what's going to happen next? The reality is, a stark reality is no. That's proof to it, because everybody that didn't believe in it, where they bought? Probably back in that range over there. The market's designed to make you lose money. It's designed to make you doubt what you're doing. So that argument, if I'm looking at that same emotional condition, it just reinforces the fact that we're still in an optimism wave, because nobody's in belief that we're in a bull run, and optimism means, okay, maybe and maybe not. That's kind of where we're at. So if I'm saying to you guys that I believe that this is what Bitcoin is going to be doing, I don't know when and where. I mean, there's many ways we can move this line around, but the argument is that it should still go higher. A lot of people are not going to agree with you, and that's the thing. Although it's nice to look at it on a micro scheme now that there's 4 green candles in a row, so yes, it's bullish, but big picture wise, a lot of people are going to say no. And that's why I want to make sure that we treat this exit liquidity argument that we're trying to give you guys with respect, and not just blindly go and sell, or blindly go and agree and then get out, and then we hear, but you said. The argument is, we can be in this lateral trend for 4 or 5 times more longer than what it takes. We don't know. We treat each and every price action with the same curiosity. We try and figure out what's going to happen next, and then we apply that to our portfolio. Okay, so that's the context I wanted to sign off with. So currently, if we look at this, and we look at where we are today, alt's doing exactly the same that it did the last time round. We were in the optimism wave. So that's a big positive for me. So let's leave it at that. Lee, Ethereum Classic. You gave us a bit of a TA a while back. So show me your Ethereum Classic. Let's quickly have a look at that.
Okay, let me zoom in first, and then we're gonna zoom out. So Ethereum Classic, higher high, higher low. That was the buy area. And if you zoom in like this, there's something to be really exciting about, because the entry was good. We had a stop loss, and from that little move, there is, I don't know, 80% profit. Even that was the TP1 at 57, and it took 2 weeks to do that. Okay, last TP will be at 54 if we manage to get there. But if you zoom out on that chart, okay, that was the top 180. Do we really think that this thing's gonna go like on a straight line and make a higher high like this, or even something like, I don't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're not gonna stop and just go up? I don't think so.
I would love it.
I would love it. Obviously, I would love it. I would love it too. But I honestly don't think so. So, on a bigger time frame, on something like this where we had a huge top and the bottom, assuming the bottom is here, and now if I go to this more like different one, 23.6 retraced at 58. Like I said, the first TP on that move will be 54, 58. At 58, on that chart, is only like 23.6. You can literally expect a retrace, maybe another 40% down if you're holding this. Okay. And if we can go above 23.6, we're going to tackle the 38.2. So everything's going to take like step by step to go up. And and this will take time. It will not happen next month or 2 months later, and we're going to be sitting with Ethereum Classic at $180. That's one thing I wanted to tell you guys. So be patient. But if you look on a bigger scale, from the all-time low, or from one of the lowest price point at $3.60 to 180, even now today at $50, we are sitting right in the zone where we call this reload zone for longs. 618, 786, maybe that will be like 887. This is the zone where people or the smart money want to invest or will invest in crypto. Same for BTC, same for everything. So within this full range, if you like the coin and everything, then buy Ethereum Classic. It's still a good buy area between this range. Yes, it is a big one, but when the market is ready, and I don't know when it's gonna be, that is probably doing something like this. And at that stage, we will have this return like 3, 4, 5, 6, or 10x.
So time.
Buying now here, it's really, really good, good buying area. And this is also the time now for you guys to, learn this kind of techniques, secure your position, your good position on those alts. Don't be scared or afraid to buy here. Even after you buy here, you're gonna have like 20 or 30% drawdown or losses on a short term. But on a bigger scale,
this is investment. This is investment, not trading.
Bigger time frame. This is really the good zone to invest for the next month. And when this happens, then make sure you're gonna sell a little bit and take profit on it.
Okay, cool. So that's let's have a look at something just quick. We've made no secret about this, that we are sponsored by Telos. Now, Telos is a layer 1. The reason they're sponsoring us is because they don't want people that's holding their token to get wrecked. So they asked us to daily give you guys Telos updates so that you can have the best chance with their network. They've done it themselves. They're OG. They've been here since forever. They're by far the fastest. Look out for the educational content that's coming with Telos that we've prepared. We're going to be launching them on the channel. But what I want to look at is just quickly the price action. So we've taught you guys a lot of things today about high highs, high lows, and whether the dump is over, so that you can sort of prepare yourself for that. So I want to just quickly apply this. And I'm going to use my Telos TA chart. And I just want to take this line and maybe let's just change the color so it's nice and maybe pink is the right color for this. So it's nice and in your face. It's still not that too much in your face. But okay, so the argument is, I'll flip back to candles. If we look at this, has Telos made a higher high from its retrace? Lee, your opinion?
I hope not.
No
Because I'm not in the trend yet.
invest.
I've got my buys a little bit below those price action.
No higher high
Still,
yet.
I'm waiting. I'm still waiting.
So anybody that bought from the last time that we had Telos at this stage, stop at break even, because it's no use you hit the stop limit anymore. So for me, stop limit's going to move into that area. Stop at break even. You don't need to give back or pay anything, or take some profit for that matter if you want, because we're losing demand. We're definitely not trending up. So I can delete that now. The Telos is not ready to go up just yet. At the end of the day, the next logical target for me is going to be sitting in around this area over here. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'm going to track the momentum back down. But for now, please do not. If you're in a trade with Telos, you should not be trading it at this stage. You should be waiting, because I think there's more discount to be had. Okay, so that's my last little piece. Lee, we've got some special guests at the backstage. Should I bring them up quickly? Let's quickly flash them. That remembered the mantra. And I don't see Donnie doesn't have his screen on, and then for a second time running and quoting everybody about the mantra. Now, why the mantra? Because there's 3 things to trading. You have to have your fundamentals. It gives you the reason why. Technical analysis is the way we manage risk. We've been at it the whole session trying to figure out where the risk is. And then third, timing. Just because you have the money to invest doesn't mean it's the right time to invest. You need to know when the risk is right and the project is good, and then you wait for the opportune moment. Everybody looks back at Bitcoin and said, if I only can turn back what? Time, not price. Nobody's worried about price. They want to turn back time because they know what the price was at that stage. So time is the missing third leg that you need to be profitable. And that's what we're trying to teach you guys. And so for that, please hit the like and subscribe button. We're going to be dedicating these YouTubes to make sure that you guys get that same foundation in your own trading and investing the way that we do. And remember, guys, it's not financial advice. We do not share in your gains, so we cannot share in your risks. You need to make sure that you apply our risk management strategies that we use on our own in a similar fashion, so that you also don't get wrecked. Okay, Lee, buddy, you ready to chat to everybody backstage?
Yes, ready.
Okay, guys, it's weekend. Please keep on hustling.
Keep hustling.